What is going on, everybody? For those who don't know, I go by BLSG, and this is another Eagles video. If you guys are new to this channel and love talking Philly sports every single day, go down below and hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and make sure you turn on the notification bell so you guys are instantly notified whenever I upload a new video. Now for today's video, I want to talk about something that no other Philly content creator has surprisingly talked about. I want to talk about the top 10 free agent wide receivers that are still available. Yes, no other Philly content creator has ever done this video. I am the first one to do it possibly, and this is a possibility where the Philadelphia Eagles can go ahead and try to sign a veteran wide receiver, since they have a very young wide receiver core in Jalen Reagor, Travis Fulgham, and Devontae Smith. Now, let's just get right into this, and let's do this. We're gonna start out by playing the elimination game to see which top 10 wide receivers I want to eliminate and which ones I do not want to have. And that's pretty much how this whole thing is going to go down. So, let's just get right into this. My number one wide receiver that I do not want in free agency as a veteran is Golden Tate. I do not want Golden Tate because he was a former Eagle, and I don't think he's going to come back. And he was so disrespectful to our stadium when he punched our Eagles bag on the field goal post, and that was just so disrespectful that he apparently, I think, got an unsportsmanlike conduct for that, and that's why I do not want Golden Tate to come back to Philadelphia and from the New York Giants. My number 2 free agent wide receiver I do not want. I do not want Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey, he's an old receiver. We've had him for years. I will always be thankful for Alshon for helping us win Super Bowl 52 over Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. I will always be thankful for that. But since that point, he hasn't been his greatest, but at the same time, he hasn't been his worst. And once again, former Eagle, I don't think he's going to come back. So, that's why I do not want to bring Alshon back, because he's been rusty in the past. And apart from that Super Bowl run, he's just been really rusty and hasn't been able to get the job done for the Philadelphia Eagles. My number 3 wide receiver that I do not want on this roster out of all 10 wide receivers in Larry Fitzgerald, Golden Tate, Alshon Jeffrey, Westbrook, Damiere Byrd, Isaiah Ford, Dez Bryant, Laquan Treadwell, D'Anthony Thomas, and Marquise Lee. I do not want Dez Bryant. Yes, Dez Bryant, he was a former Cowboy. Why would he ever come to the Philadelphia Eagles? Why would he ever come to the Philadelphia Eagles? His last team that he played was for Baltimore. Why would he ever come to Philadelphia? He would never come to Philadelphia in a million years, and I do not want Dez Bryant. So, I just don't want Dez Bryant because, in my opinion, he's very disrespectful to all the Eagles fans and the Eagles players, and he's just really bad to the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to just playing against them every single time. My next wide receiver I do not want. I do not want Marquise Lee from the New England Patriots. The reason why I'm going to say that is because Marquise Lee, when he played in New England, he got very little playing time up there in New England. There have been guys such as N'Keal Harry, Julian Edelman, and other wide receivers that have gotten more playing time than Marquise Lee. I just cannot think who they are off the top of my head. But anyway, those wide receivers have gotten more playing time than Marquise Lee. Marquise Lee has gotten some playing time, but in my opinion, I just don't think it's going to be enough to have the Eagles afford and bring on Marquise Lee and bring him to Philadelphia, in my opinion. So I do not want Marquise Lee. So we're left with 4 wide receivers: Larry Fitzgerald, Westbrook, Damiere Byrd, Isaiah Ford, Laquan Treadwell, and D'Anthony Thomas. My next wide receiver I do not want is D'Anthony Thomas. I don't want D'Anthony Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. And it's pretty much going along with the same reason for Marquise Lee. hasn't gotten a lot of playing time. The Ravens have been relying on guys such as Marquise Brown, Devin Duvernay, Miles Boykin, Mark Andrews, etc., etc. They've been relying on those guys. They have not been relying on DeAnthony Thomas unless if they've been resting their starters or if their starters got injured. So, I do not want DeAnthony Thomas for those reasons. He was originally going to be the starter, but when the Ravens picked up more good receivers out there and made more trades, that's when DeAnthony Thomas was going to lose his playing time because he didn't do well in training camp, in my opinion. My next wide receiver I do not want. I do not want Damiere Byrd. And I'll give you my reason for that. Pretty much the same reason going along with that. As well as for the Patriots, Marquise Lee. He hasn't gotten a lot of playing time. He's gotten playing time when other receivers have been injured and has been catching balls from Cam Newton, Jared Stidham, Brian Hoyer. All of those guys he's caught balls from, but he really hasn't gotten playing time out on the field when it comes to playing games for the Patriots. So in my opinion, I do not want Damiere Byrd because Damiere Byrd, in my opinion, he's just very rusty. And in my opinion, I just don't think he'll be able to really develop to Jalen Hurts and really get used to the Philadelphia Eagles organization. So that's why I do not want Damiere Byrd. Now we are left with 4 wide receivers: Larry Fitzgerald, D.D. Westbrook, Isaiah Ford, and Laquan Treadwell. So, my next wide receiver I do not want. I do not want Isaiah Ford, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I do not want Isaiah Ford because Isaiah Ford, once again, pretty much the same reason with most of, if not all, these wide receivers. He has not had lots of playing time. He has gotten very few playing time, and the Dolphins have been relying more on guys like Devontae Parker, Albert Wilson, Jalen Waddle, who they will now have, Mike Gesicki. Those are guys that they will now have to rely on, and those, in my opinion, will be the receivers that they will rely on the most, and they won't really rely on Isaiah Ford as much, and they haven't really done so in the past. So, in my opinion, I do not want Isaiah Ford because, again, he's not going to be a great wide receiver to come in and be an automatic starter/backup. If we were to get him, he would probably be on the practice squad because he's not the greatest of all wide receivers. So we're down to 3 wide receivers: Larry Fitzgerald, D.D. Westbrook, and Laquan Treadwell. My next one I do not want. I do not want D.D. Westbrook, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want D.D. Westbrook. He has gotten playing time, but it's the quarterback problem. He can't catch balls from Gardner Minshew, Jake Luton. He cannot catch balls from them. Even though he can catch balls from Jalen Hurts, he's still not a starting wide receiver, in my opinion. If we do decide to get a veteran wide receiver, I don't see D.D. Westbrook being the guy. And in my opinion, D.D. Westbrook, he was a great wide receiver when Jacksonville went to the playoffs in 2017 when they beat the Buffalo Bills in the first round, beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the second round, but fell short to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. In my opinion, he was a great wide receiver at the time, but now he's just out of it. He doesn't have the power anymore to continue to try to bring it on, and really just doesn't have the energy to keep going for any team that he decides to sign with. And so we are in between Larry Fitzgerald and Laquan Treadwell. Larry Fitzgerald, who used to play for Arizona, and Laquan Treadwell, who used to play for Atlanta. Both of these guys have gotten serious playing time in the past and have just been really decent wide receivers for their teams. But one of these receivers has had more playing time, in my opinion, than the other wide receiver, and has just been playing some of the best ball that he's ever played in his entire career. And he's an old guy, but he knows how to catch the ball. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. For the Philadelphia Eagles to sign, if they decide to go and get a veteran wide receiver, I am going with Larry Fitzgerald. Because Larry Fitzgerald He's been that receiver. He's played all season long. He's still playing today. He's not retired. He's still playing today. And he can still catch balls from any quarterback, no matter if it's Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, which I hope not. But he can probably catch balls from Jalen Hurts. And this is the chance for Devontae Smith, Travis Fulgham, and Jalen Reagor to learn a few things off of Larry Fitzgerald. Besides, Larry Fitzgerald, in my opinion, has the most experience out of all these guys that you just heard on here. Laquan Treadwell, he's an okay receiver. He played for the Vikings, was really nice with Kirk Cousins, but in my opinion, he will just not be enough if he decides to come to Philly to play with Jalen Hurts, which is why I do pick Larry Fitzgerald to somehow, some way, if the Eagles do try to sign a veteran wide receiver, they go after Larry Fitzgerald and they get the job done. If they decide to go and get a veteran wide receiver, which chances are they will very likely to try to learn off of a veteran wide receiver, because they have a very young wide receiver core. And in my opinion, if they do not have a veteran wide receiver, the receivers will not be their greatest, but they won't be their worst. But we need our receivers to be great. We need them to be great. We need Jalen Hurts to look amazing. We need Jalen Hurts to throw to guys down the field. And we need someone for these young guys to follow as a leader. And Larry Fitzgerald will be that leader because he has the most experience and he knows how to still catch footballs today in this world of the NFL. You guys give your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who do you think the Eagles should sign as a free agent wide receiver? And do you even think the Eagles should sign a free agent wide receiver? You guys give your thoughts down below in the comment section. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.